One of our first real snows around here. I had a board written up back at the other place. I forgot to bring it. So I'm kind of going by memory and reconstructed it. Nothing too profound here. A few points I wanted to bring up though. I'm going to get behind the camera so you can hear me better. My first topic was just the statement, be unrutted. Of course we all want to be unrutted. You know, it sounds bad to be in a rut. And there's different ways, different ruts we fall into. So I guess it's just something to contemplate. So think about the different ways in which you may be rutted. I try to think of the different ways I'm rutted. And I know I'm falling into ruts. Always, it's the habit, you know, it's what works for you, you keep doing it. But it came up to me in terms of main path. I met an individual and had a good conversation with him. I kind of wanted to talk to him because I could see he was young, and I was kind of seeing him going into the orthodox path there a little too much. I wanted to see if I could open him up a little bit. Challenge. But we had a long conversation. It was pretty cool. I don't know if he came to this board or not. If you did, identify yourself, please. But anyways, being unrutted in your main path, always be prepared to change your mind about things. Be ready to have your apple cart upset. Just like I did in my losing my religion experience, in one of my earlier videos on hill or stream. I think it's in one of the playlists. Probably exercise and experiences, I don't know. But that's kind of central to my story, you know, losing my religion. When I thought I had it all, you know, I was pretty cocksure about what I knew. Everything seemed to work in a system, you know, and you know, upset my apple cart a little to learn that it was all plagiarized, basically. But so don't be too rutted in your main path. Be willing to accept that you may have one of your basic concepts wrong, or you may change your mind about this or that. You know, it may change your whole outlook, take a whole different view. Be ready to take a whole different view on things. The second thing about not to be rutted in is your judgments. And I have a little quote here, unwise habit of not liking. You know, just people are too quick to judge food, music. I don't like that vocalist, you know, so I don't like the music. And I try to look past the vocalist's voice and listen to his skill and his or her skill, and really the emotion behind what they're singing. So the unwise habit of forming snap judgments, of unliking things too quickly. And then I wrote, don't cast aspersions upon things that just are. And this is coming up with a lady I listen to a lot. And she's got issues with the whole male-female thing. Of course, she's beautiful and young, you know, so she's going to have more than enough hassle in that regard, I'm sure. At any rate, you know, there's some things that just are. The relations between the sexes in general, the how society is configured. You know, we can rail against these things, but what's the point of railing against that you can't change, you know? Don't cast aspersions upon things you really can't control. If you can influence them, yeah, go ahead. But if you really don't have any influence or any control, then why bother? You know, with the negative thoughts. So, you know, this all goes back to my old thing I keep beating to death, and that's, you know, notice what you're doing. Notice the judgments you make. Notice the snap things, the things you cast a downward look at. You know, just, they can't be changed, you know, why wasting that energy? I also had a little P.S. It's kind of back to the subject, a bonus thought for you all here if you stuck this long. Regarding my last video when I was talking about hypnagogic imagery, the one point I wanted to bring up that I didn't bring up was that hypnagogic imagery is always there. So if you're in dim light or no light, say you're in no light and you're right next to a light dimmer, and you're seeing the hypnagogic imagery. You're relaxing for a while and letting the grain come out a little bit, you know. Well, if you turn the lights on real dim, that grain doesn't go away. The imagery doesn't go away. It just kind of gets less important the more you got visual information coming in. Your mind just shifts it out of view. You know, optically it shifts out of view because it's so much brighter. And then, because you know, the hypnagogic registers very dimly. So it gets crowded out that way when direct visual information comes into the eyes and starts getting interpreted by the brain and the visual screen. But it's still there, you know. If you're looking in dim light and you know you up the lights a little bit, that imagery is still there. Your mind is just tuning it out more and more. So it's not something that's just limited to pitch black light.